Hello. We are live streaming here now, I think. This is basic military riding. My name's Jane Frizzell, and we are going to talk about section 14 from it's section 14 in both the Saumur 1912 and the Fort Riley 1935. And I think you should go back and watch the previous episode, which was on section 22, which defines, it says explicitly what a trained horse is. And that is, of course, to know exactly what that is, of course, the ultimate goal of the entire program. Okay, so section 14. And also, we're not going in order through the books, which I explained in the first video. So go back and watch that. Section 14, elementary lessons in the aids. The aids are the 4 natural aids. I'm just going to read what it says here, and then I'll talk about it in a few minutes. Before taking the young horse outside, he must understand and be responsive to, those are the 2 verbs that must happen, understand and be responsive to, the signals for 4 different actions. So I call them the 4 events. The Army called them 4 different actions. All possible movements and all gaits are derived from these 4 elementary actions. And it's necessary that they be taught as soon as practicable and separately before they are associated in producing combined effects. Now, if you have the workbook, underline the sentence. All possible movements and all gaits are derived from these 4 elementary actions, and it is necessary that they be taught as soon as practicable and separately before they are associated in producing combined effects. I want you to underline and separately and circle it. And I want you to underline combined effects and circle it. These are 2 enormous doctrines in horse training. And if you are following the series, you will know about them. And all right, I'm just going to spill the beans. And separately, this is going to go back to the Saumur would say, leg without hand, hand without leg. It is that the aids are successive, never simultaneous. That's the way Colonel Taylor from Fort Riley spelled it out. Aids are successive, never simultaneous, but they are associated in producing combined effects. This means that we do not combine the aids, we combine their effects. And if you are a student of riding, and if you're in this program, you will want to go through the primary textbooks from all of the basic schools or the important schools. And I want you to notice how frequently those guys mention combined effects or combining their effects, or this is the effect, or this, the idea of effects in riding is very important. It is a very understood. It's not understood well enough, and it's not taught because people don't understand it or know about it. So, and separately and combined effects, huge big ideas. On to the next thing. Okay, these 4 elementary actions are to move forward from the leg, to slow or stop from the rein, to turn to the right and turn to the left with opening reins. I'm going to add something in here. You can just jot in the margin. There is another element that Major Lindgren insisted on, and that was self-carriage. He would call it carry on. It is the military term carry on. I'm not in the military, but from what I know from Major Lindgren, is that means continue as is and you're doing well. Continue as is and you're doing well is carry on. And so in this school, the way I frame it is go, stop, go, turn, stop, carry on. Those are our elements. Okay. I'm not going to quibble about that. I'm just explaining. I'm reading again. These elements being thoroughly understood by the young horse. So they're talking about teaching these to youngsters. Then plus the ordinary exercises of equitation. These would be things like transitions, turn on the forehand, turn on the haunches, haunches in, shoulder in. So these elements being thoroughly understood, plus the ordinary exercises of equitation, judiciously adapted to the horse's means and to the maturity of his development and physical condition, accomplish the education. So that sounds pretty simple. I've got to know the horse has to know these 4 actions, and then we train in these ordinary exercises of equitation, and that trains the horse. And it goes on to say, the ordinary exercises of equitation that is training properly speaking. That is training properly. And they're also very neglected too. And another project that I'm working on, everyone in the program is training for Major Lindgren's exercise book, which is basically a summary of, it's like the workbook for Steinbrecht's gymnasium. And so we're spelling out those exercises, and all in the same context. Go, turn, stop, carry on. Now I am just going to reread what Saumur and Fort Riley have said. These actions are to move forward from the leg, to slow up or stop from the rein, to turn to the right and the left with opening reins. Now, this is where I'm making a judgment call from experience. It would be very natural to continue on to section 15, which is to go, to move forward. And especially to get immediately into section 17, which is the turn, which actually a young horse will even learn a turn before it learns a stop. And sometimes if they don't go easily, a turn will also help them to go. So go, turn, stop are obviously they're very different things, but they can all really help in explaining. They sort of help explain each other. Now, this is section 14 in these instructions. And I just said it would be very natural to go on to 15, 16, 17, but we're not going to do that. Next time I see you here, we are going to really examine section 27, which is the basis of an equestrian language, because there's a very important doctrine in there that you guys will know that other people don't know. And it's very relevant to the 4 natural aids, which is what this section is talking about, elementary lessons in the aids. Let's just pay a few minutes attention to the basis of an equestrian language and the 4 natural aids per section 27 next time I see you. Read ahead if you want. Google it. You'll find a horse, actually. I read section 27 aloud to a horse, and you'll see him demonstrated. It's super important. You don't want to miss it.